And welcome back, everybody, to the episode of the Primetime Preview here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Ricky K here with you for episode 7 as we get you set for a weekend in sports that might not really be a high-octane weekend in July, but we got some events going on for you, starting in Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland, the Open Championship, and it's a familiar face at the top of the leaderboard. It's Scottie Scheffler. Is he going to win his 4th major? Who can take him down at what is usually one of the more unpredictable majors in the sport? Baseball's back. We got the second half underway tonight. What are the series you should be watching? Our Pittsburgh insider, Ralph Felice, is going to join us to talk about that and the All-Star Week in Atlanta. We'll have Jess from Shin Pads and Shenanigans on to talk MLS. What are your 3 matches to watch? We'll talk Twin Euros semifinals on Tuesday with England and Italy, but we got the quarters still going. Spain winning today and France taking on Germany tomorrow should be a good one. We'll talk NASCAR, IndyCar, HRA, and MotoGP with Daryl Kinsey from the Extra Mile. We'll talk WNBA All-Star Weekend. We'll have UFC and boxing to talk about later on, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And, of course, the NBA Summer League in the semifinals. We'll see who gets crowned the champion out in Vegas. Plus, trading camps are starting to open. That's always a lot of fun as well. So join me, Ricky K, and let me know what you're watching this weekend. We're going to have a lot of fun breaking down a bunch of different sports, and it all starts in just a minute. And thank you once again for hopping on with me, Ricky K, here on the Primetime Preview, episode number 7 on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Got a lot of fun coming up for you tonight. Of course, you want to follow us on X and TikTok, YouTube at IE Sports Radio, at IESportsRadio.com. Learn more about our shows, our insiders. We had a new show air this week, which was a lot of fun. Mike Pat did a fantastic job with Second and Scheming, which is on Tuesdays, right before the Bullpen Bulletin. You want to check out that as well. You can also follow me on X at Rickinator555. Also, at IESR_New York. You're looking for some New York updates as well. And feel free to send a comment here on YouTube, X, Twitch. What sports are you watching this weekend? Give me some of your bold predictions for this weekend. What do you like? And check that out as well. So let's start with the 153rd Open Championship. We leave with golf. Now, we don't normally leave with golf, but when you got a major, I feel like it's probably par for the course. And the guy shooting better than par for the course is Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler, world's number 1, doing his thing as he usually does. And when you go back to yesterday, he shot 3 under and only hit 3 fairways, which is amazing in of itself. Today he goes out there and absolutely blisters the course. He shoots 7 under 64. He's 10 under par, ends up birdieing 3 of the last 6 holes on the golf course. He was hitting greens left and right, making clutch putts. And right now it's hard to see that he doesn't win this tournament. Mike Tirico had a great stat at the end of the telecast day on NBC, which, by the way, you can catch the 3rd round tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific on NBC. There have been 62 rounds played in majors since 2022 when Scottie Scheffler won the Masters. He has had the lead in 10 of those 62 rounds, or a share of the lead. Say that for a second. He has led or share of the lead in 10 of those 62 rounds. Now, you might not say it's a lot, but 1/6 in golf is a lot. So makes you think right now it's hard to see that he does not win this if he's on his A game, because think about it. He was on his B+ game the other day and still shot 3 under. And if he's rolling the way he's rolling right now, he's on pace to win his 4th major. He'd be his 2nd major this year. And he'd be 1 slam away at the U.S. Open from the career Grand Slam, which Rory did this year at the Masters. Now, it's still a very tight field. Just because Scotty's in the lead, there's still other guys that can make a run, starting with Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's 1 shot back. I mean, the final group with Scheffler at 10:35 a.m. tomorrow morning in the 3rd round. Fitzpatrick shot 5 under today, but he had 8 birdies, was 1 birdie off from tying the open course record. And, of course, he is a former U.S. Open champion when the U.S. Open was at Brookline in Massachusetts a few years ago. 2 shots back is Brian Harman. He shot 6 under today. Harman, a former British Open champion. He does a really good job with links golf, so he's a player to monitor. He has shot 69 on Thursday, 65 today. Hao Tong Lee is also 8 under par. So those are your 3 golfers within a shot or 2. If you're looking for other guys, we have Terry Rodriguez, of course, the man behind the glass in the house, and Josh Ritter is here. And Josh brought up one of them, so I'm going to talk about the guys who are 5 under. One being Robert McIntyre, who shot 5 under today. He's a Scottish guy, played at Royal Portrush in his first Open, which was 2019. So he's a player who loves this golf course. Cam Gotterup shot 6 under today. He's 5 shots back. Gotterup won the Scottish Open last week, beating Rory McIlroy. So he is definitely on a high right now. You got Rasmus Højgaard at 5 under, Tyrrell Hatton at 5 under, who Hatton's more on the LIV Tour. But he's one of those fiery characters you like to watch. Harris English is 5 under. Out of the 4 unders, you got Nick Højgaard. So the Højgaard brothers are both in it. And Tony Finau. It's good to see Tony Finau back near the top of the leaderboard because Finau's got all this talent in the world. He just never makes putts. He's never consistent in majors. He's one of those guys I think everybody would love to see win a major. I don't know if he's going to make that big of an impact being 6 back, but you never know. And then if you want to go really far back, Rory is 3 under. He's 7 off the lead, but we all know he can go low, and especially at a course where he's the hometown favorite. If he starts to go on those 4 or 5 under runs before Scotty tees off, because Rory will be about an hour behind, he could really at least cause a scare. Sam Burns is 3 under. Lee Westwood's 3 under. I got to give props to Bryson DeChambeau. He was +7 after Thursday. He shot 6 under today to make the cut. That's not easy to do. And you look at the Open Championship, and what I love about it is the weather is always unpredictable. Like, you'll have sunshine and great skies for 5-10 minutes, and then it's going to start downpouring for 5-10 minutes. And then it's going to get windy for 5-10 minutes. And it might be windy on the 11th hole. It might be downpour on the 14th hole. And it's just all like this things that defy Mother Nature, where one moment you need your sunglasses, one moment you need an umbrella, one moment you need your poncho, your caddy's got to give you an umbrella. Like, that's the cool part of links golf is you could hit a ball like 200 yards and then it just starts bouncing another 100. Or you can hit the perfect tee shot. It goes in a fairway bunker and all of a sudden you're struggling to make par. Like, that's really the beauty of links golf. It is so much different than the golf we play mostly here in the United States. But if I had to give a prediction, it's really hard for me to not say Scotty's going to win this. I mean, it's not quite Tiger, where when Tiger was leading, you knew he wasn't going to lose unless you were Y.E. Yang at the PGA Championship years ago. But the way he just there's a different aura with him. It's not quite the Tiger aura. But when Scotty's got his A game going, and he doesn't seem to feel the pressure of being world's number 1, which he's got that calm demeanor about him on the course, which you kind of like. Now, there was some controversy today. Shane Lowry got a 2-stroke penalty for a ball that he apparently seen when he did a practice swing. The ball oscillated, and you could kind of see it on the telecast. Lowry did still make the cut. And, of course, that's the guy who won in 2019. It always begs the question, should that be really a thing that you lose 2 strokes on when he's taking a swing and he doesn't mean to make the ball move? It just moves. It's one of those weird things that you just never seem to expect. And I think it's cool in golf that guys kind of police themselves in a sense where they know they broke the rule. They take the penalty. The official told him during the round that they were going to look at it, and then they spent 20 minutes after the round trying to make a ruling on this. And to me, when you're talking about 2 strokes, That's a big deal in golf. Think about if that was to make the cut or not. I feel like if it's not, it's kind of like baseball replay. If it's not cut and dry, I don't see why you need 20 minutes to look at something like that. Especially when they were showing it on the NBC USA, was on USA Network today, but that broadcast. And they were talking about, oh, it looks like it definitely moved. But they need 20 minutes to look at it at the RNA. Like, to me, that's kind of confusing. But Shane Lowry's luckily made the cut. Did a lot of cursing on the course. You saw today as well. But overall, it's going to be a good – I think having Scheffler and Fitzpatrick, a USA-England final group member, we're gearing up for the Ryder Cup at the end of the year at Bethpage Black here, for me at least locally here in Long Island, which will be a lot of fun as well. So, again, third round in action, 7 a.m. Eastern, 4 a.m. Pacific on NBC. And Taryn is right. It is Big Mike. My apologies. Mike Pat's on with me on Tuesdays doing the Bullpen Bulletin at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back this week. We took the week off for the All-Star break. Speaking of baseball, it is back. We have our usual top 5 series of the week. Second half is in action as we speak. We had one game go final today, and we'll talk about all that. We'll recap the All-Star game. So joining me now to talk some baseball here on the show, a good buddy of mine. He is our Pittsburgh insider. He's our New York Mets insider. He's our Philadelphia 76ers insider. Heck, he just does a lot of insights about anything. Ralph Calise is in the house. Ralph, how are you, good sir?
There it is. New York Mets insider. I wore it for tonight, Ricky. How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am doing good. It's happy to have some baseball back. So
yes,
before we go,
as always, thanks for having me on.
Happy to have you. So let's go over my 5 series of the week, and then we will dive into, of course, All-Star stuff. So number 5, to talk about, of course, your team, and I'm going to go into this Reds-Mets series. I think it's a very interesting series, and it's not just because it's David Wright Day tomorrow, which is great. David Wright, of course, being Captain America, Mr. Met, probably the closest thing to identifying as a longtime Met that didn't play anywhere else since Ed Kranepool. Finally got to be in a World Series in 2015, which was great. And you talk about this as a Met team that's only a half game out of the NL East, starting to stabilize itself. Sean Manaea making his second start tonight. Kodai Senga's back in the rotation, not this week, but you've seen this Met team starting to bounce back after a rough June. Reds are trying to hang around. They're 8 back in the Central at 50 and 47. In terms of the wild card, they're only 2.5 back. Since he's going to get healthy, especially the likes of Hunter Green, can they start to make that push? So Reds-Mets, very interesting series there. Number 4, we're going to go Astros-Mariners. Mariners ended the first half by sweeping the Tigers after getting swept by the Yankees, which was big. If Seattle wants to hang around in the West, they got to do something in this series. They're 5 games back of the Astros, who are very surprisingly 56 and 40, because we don't think of Houston in the elite teams in the AL, but they've got Framber Valdez and Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's been, I think, one of the more underrated pitchers in the league this year. This is a really strong Houston team, even with Jeremy Pena banged up and things like that. They've got a strong group. Yordan Alvarez hasn't been healthy. So always a fun ALS matchup there. Number 3, Giants-Blue Jays. It's a fun interleague matchup. Both teams in playoff contention. Justin Verlander is throwing tonight. Not a good sign for him. He still hasn't won this year, which I'm still amazed the Giants are 7 games over and Justin Verlander hasn't won a game. Like that blows my mind. But they're still in contention, 6 back in the West, in position for a wild card spot. Blue Jays coming tonight with a 2-game lead on the Yankees. Number 2, Brewers and Dodgers. Tyler Glasnow is back for the Dodgers tonight. Milwaukee just a game and a half back in the Central. They won 8 of their last 10 going to the break. Dodgers, meanwhile, lost 7 of their last 10 going to the break. So both these teams kind of in opposite directions. And number 1, Red Sox and Cubs. Now, this one final today, that's the one final we have right now. Cubs beat the Red Sox 4-1. Seiya Suzuki, a 3-run homer in this one. This is a test for the Red Sox. Yes, they won 10 in a row going to the break, and you applaud them for it. But the 10 in a row they won outside of those 4 Rays games were to the Nationals and the Rockies. Red Sox start the break, post-break, Cubs, Phillies, Dodgers. Wow. Let's see how good the Red Sox actually are before we start selling their contenders. They should buy, as we're 2 weeks away from the trade deadline. So that's my 5. Ralph, as usual, after last week, you were here with me. Let you chime in on any of those 5. Maybe I missed something that you're keeping an eye on this week.
Well, to start, I wrote down today, preparing for the show with you there. I had your 1 and 2 flipped. I had the Milwaukee at the Dodgers as the number 1 series, and the Reds and Cubs second. Because I think that Milwaukee Dodgers series coming up is going to be a playoff preview somewhere down the line coming up when the playoffs come. And yeah, Boston at the Cubs, like you mentioned. Hey, that's 2 old teams. They both play in old stadiums that, of course, are now remodeled, but it's Boston and the Cubs, and they did play today. So yeah, I think Boston at the Cubs would be number 2, like you mentioned. I like that. As far as the Mets and the Reds, I will be there tomorrow at the David Wright ceremony for the retirement of his jersey. And me and you were talking during the week, and your rumor was confirmed. What you told me during the week, that there may be a passing along of the captainship tomorrow to a fellow named Francisco Lindor. And I was talking to my daughter about it today, as that's what I'm going with the game with tomorrow. And she was all pumped up. She's a big Lindor fan. And she goes, Dad, if that happens, she goes, oh boy, we're going to go crazy. I said, yeah, but let's look at the fact that the main thing is that we win. But yeah, no, that's going to be special. And right now it's 2-1 Mets as I got the game on while we're talking. And Manaea's looked pretty good. I think he struck out like 6 guys again. He's out of the game now. He pitched 4 innings. I like that series too. I also like the Yankees and Braves series. The Yankees go to Atlanta and see if they could get their second half of the year off to a good start versus Atlanta versus Spencer Strider. At last I looked, they were losing 3-0. But that would be my other series. And yeah, like I said, just flip the 1 and 2 is the best series for me. And everything else you said, yeah, it's pretty much touch and base.
So I was going to actually put Yankees Braves in my flip the channel series of the weekend, because the Yankees basically showed no urgency in the series. They started an opener tonight, Ian Hamilton, because Cam Schlittler had bicep soreness. It sounded like he's going to be okay to pitch against Toronto, but they backed up Fried and Rodon for Toronto, and it shows because they're trash tonight. They're down 6-0 in the 4th inning. Ian Hamilton was the opener. He didn't do anything right. And to me, that's a bad omen to have, that you're starting with an opener out of the break. Before we knew the news about Schlittler, it was kind of surprising. And look, the Yankees got to find it. And to me, they need a big trade deadline in 2 weeks. They're going to have to go into that prospect hall, because to me, and Atlanta's not pitching even good this week. You're looking at the 2 matchups, Will Warren against Joey Wentz and Grant Holmes against Marcus Stroman. To me, I can find much better series than that this weekend. I mean, there are other ones I thought of. I would say Tigers Rangers is interesting, because Texas needs this series to kind of jumpstart them if they want to buy, and maybe they're catching Detroit at the right time. There's another one St. Louis, Arizona. 2 teams are trying to figure out where they stand in 2 weeks. That would be one. There's a couple. I like these series. To me, Yankees Braves. I think with Max Fried not pitching in Atlanta lost the vibe for me.
I thought the Giants at the Blue Jays was an intriguing series too, being that it's an interleague game and San Francisco's going to Toronto. The old baseball fans out there ain't used to having San Francisco at Toronto much on their schedule. But that seemed intriguing. And the Reds just took the lead 3-2 on a 2-run homer. Anyway, back to the show.
And Justin Verlander, by the way, is still not getting a win tonight. He went 2 2/3 innings.
Yeah, it was
Toronto's up 4-0.
Yes,
that's still amazing to me. Like, he's a good pitcher. Like, you would think any team would want Justin Verlander, and we said when the Giants signed him, it was great. He doesn't have a win, which is so crazy. We're gonna get to late July. I was saying this back in April and May too. It was kind of nuts. Before we wrap up our baseball talk, let's look at All-Star Weekend. Cal Raleigh, of course, winning the home run derby in a crazy pattern. And, of course, we had the swing off in the All-Star game, the AL coming from 6 runs down. First time it has happened in a All-Star game since 1955. And we saw Kyle Schwarber dominate the swing off. What do you take away the most from All-Star Weekend?
I think Kyle Schwarber actually won the MVP. I think he actually took it away from Pete Alonso because I think he was lined up for the MVP if the National League won. But Kyle Schwarber went three. He had 3 home runs in a row, and the announcers that were calling it, man, they said exactly what he needed to do, and he did it. It was just amazing, like how they spoke about he needed to like take a couple of pitches, get the feel of it because it was something new that we've never seen, or he probably never did. And he hit 3 bombs. I mean, they weren't cheap home runs. And then he followed it up tonight. His first at bat, he hit a home run. So Kyle Schwarber, man, he was impressive. I kind of like the strike zone, the challenge. I kind of liked it. They challenged the. I think all the challenges were reversed. Not reversed, were correct. When they were challenged, they weren't overturned. They stood. If they called, like what I'm saying, if they called it a strike and they challenged it for a ball, it overturned. Rather, I'm saying, said it wrong. Sorry. I like that. That was good. And yeah, it was a pretty good All-Star game. It was a great comeback, 6-0. I'm sure a lot of people shut it off after that, but nah, it was good for MLB. I think it was good. I like the strike zone thing. The microphone talking to the players in the field that seemed a little distracting to a couple of them. But it's a show. MLB's putting on a show. They're trying to be better than all the other major sports out there with All-Star games. And my favorite part of it was the Kyle Schwarber 3 home runs and that swing off. That was great.
Of course, Brian Francione, New England Insiders in the house. Larry's in the house as well, saying that was a fun game. And Brian, I agree with you because I'm watching the game live, and when Edwin Diaz gets up the hit to Stephen Kwan, I'm like, wait, the NL's out of pitchers. The AL, I think, only had 1, Josh Hader. I'm like, this game is getting in a tie. And I forgot that there was the home run derby. And I was like, okay. I was hoping Aroldis Chapman didn't blow it by giving up a home run in the 9th inning, but he would. I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah, he actually looked good.
He did. I would actually love to see this during the regular season. I hate the extra man on second. And if it gets us the stars, that's the one thing I didn't like. And I think just real quickly on it, it kind of revealed the fact that some of these starters they get their 2 at bats or they get their inning or 2 and they get on the plane and they go home. Like they don't stay around because it was revealed that the managers picked the 3 players the day before, which nobody really knew until later. So that's why I didn't know this. So I'm thinking when it said, okay, Judge is going to hit, Ohtani's going to hit. Yeah. Cal Raleigh's going to hit, and we didn't get that. And I know we got Schwarber and we got robbed of Alonso because Jonathan Aranda's got a hit. A guy with 11 home runs is hitting in the home run thing.
He just missed the home run. He just missed. I
felt bad for, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, to me, that would be, I would rather have it where let's get the swing off during the regular season. If we're going to do some stupid, quirky thing and we're not going to play full-on baseball at that point. And Terrence said the fact that it came down to a hit-off was incredible instead of calling it a tie, and the tie ASAP. Well, I missed when it counted for home field advantage. We talked about it last week. I would be really cool if it counted for home field in the World Series and you did it with that.
Yes.
That would be a lot of fun. That would get people to stay around, but it is what it is. So real quickly before we wrap up here, second half underway. Give me your thoughts. Big prediction, either trade deadline with 2 weeks away or just something that you think is going to happen as we wrap up the regular season over these next 2.5 months.
Yeah, I put down a trade deadline. I think there's going to be a lot of action this year. It's going to be a lot of action. You're going to have some teams that will surprise you of being sellers. Like, I think we spoke about it a little bit last week too, like the Twins and the Diamondbacks. Don't be surprised. I mean, they're still in it now, but they might be sellers at the deadline. And I think the trade deadline is going to be very big this year. Even just looking down the line here at my Mets, they definitely need another bat. I don't know what's up with Mark Vientos. I don't know what happened to the guy. It's a crime of what's going on with him, but he's something happened. I don't know what happened, and they definitely need a left-handed arm in the bullpen. So I'm looking for the Mets to be busy at the deadline. I wrote down here too, injury returns. There's a couple of pitchers coming back. One guy for the Yankees is supposed to be coming back is Luis Gil. See how that progresses for the Yankees. And Alex Cobb has been mentioning to come back. So, will these returns help the teams that are already in place? And, of course, the Mets had Senga and Minaya, who's pitching tonight. Well, he's not pitching no more, but they came back. So the injuries would be a big part of for the teams that are vying, to get into the playoffs or win a division. I put down my two surprise teams of the first half was the Reds, who have actually playing the Mets right now. They picked it up towards there. They're only 2.5 out of the wild card. I didn't even know that till I was actually watching the game tonight, and they were talking about it. And I put down Brian's team, if he's still out there, as the Red Sox, as the other surprise team in the American League. Looking to see that they have a good second half. And also, I looked something up today. There is a record watch going on, but maybe if you could look it up, maybe you could find it better than I could. There is a record watch going on right now that the league is on pace for a record-tying number of shutouts, meaning like the teams pitching have shutouts. Now, I counted 220 according to the stats on MLB this year. I couldn't find the record. I've been trying for like hours, a couple of hours to find. I couldn't find it. Must have been looking at the wrong site. But you find that pretty amazing. 220 shutouts in the first half of the season. That seems like a real lot. And then when you look at the breakdown of the teams, every team has at least 3 or more, except one team. You know the team that has 0? Take a guess. One team in the major leagues has no shutouts this year.
I was going to say the A's.
No. Think crazy ballpark. Guys love to go play at the ballpark. Yes, the Rockies.
Now we got to keep picking on the Rockies. I was trying not to.
Where everybody has at least 3. It was just an amazing thing. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I was looking. And then I just want to put this out there, being that I'm doing the Pittsburgh Insider for the Pirates. I've been hearing, following the Pirates on IESR _ Pittsburgh. There was a thing tweeted out there. Will Paul Skeens be on track for a Cy Young Award? With the fewest victories right now, he's got the fewest victories of any possible candidate of a Cy Young. He's only got 4 wins, and he's got 8 losses. But he leads in every other category. He's in first or second place that they would consider a Cy Young Award winner. So I'm looking forward to following that because, like I told you last week, he's become one of my favorite players, and I just found that was kind of intriguing.
If Paul Skeens wins the Cy Young, we need to stop making wins a stat ever.
I know.
That's what I know teams don't care about it anymore, but let's just end the charade. No more pitcher wins, no more pitcher losses, because to me, you should have to actually win some games. I don't to me, the bigger thing would be if they traded Paul Skeens, but it sounds like that's not happening.
No,
I would think Mitch Keller is probably the one that gets traded. But to me, what's interesting real quick is going to be who sells. The sellers are going to be the ones in the big spot because the buyers all want the same stuff. And after August 1st, you can't really change your roster. So it's going to be real interesting to see what these guys do.
And that's a new rule,
correct? In the last couple of years,
right?
they took away the September 1st waiver deadline and made it just one flat. You got to get everything done by the 31st. So
okay,
that's going to make it interesting. I don't know if you're going to get a lot of big moves, but you'll get some for sure. Be sure to follow Ralph's work. Does some good stuff with our Pittsburgh account at IESR _ Pittsburgh. Does some Sixers, does some Mets. He's all over the place, and that's why we love him. Ralph, thanks for hopping on. Keep up the great work, and we'll talk again soon. Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Anytime you need me to come on, I'll make myself available for you. I appreciate you very much.
So that's Ralph Cleese. We'll take our first break. We'll come back. We're going to talk about some soccer, both overseas and here in the States. We got Women's Euros and MLS. So keep it right here for the Primetime Preview on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all this sports. We'll be right back after this.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
And welcome back to the Primetime Preview and IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we are back, and we are now going to move from the baseball field to the soccer pitch. And joining us now to talk about some women's Euros and the weekend to come in MLS, you can catch her every Wednesday night here on IE Sports Radio, the host of Shin Pads and Shenanigans. Miss Jess is in the house. Jess, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing great. So let's talk about first. Let's go to Europe first. We come back to the States. Let's do some women's Euros. And, of course, we had the quarterfinals still underway. Action this afternoon. Spain taking on Switzerland, the host nation. And a good run for Pia Sundhagen's squad. But Spain just had too much firepower in the second half. Athenia del Castillo scored in the 66th minute. Claudia Pina scored in the 71st minute. Spain missed a PK that would have made it 3-0. So they absolutely turned it on the latter stages of this game. In your opinion, is Spain the favorite to win it all? Of course, they won the Women's World Cup just a year ago.
I definitely think that that Spain is definitely the favorite to win. They've absolutely dominated in their group, and of course, they've got, if I'm not mistaken, they have Esther Gonzalez from the New Jersey Gotham. And she has been, I think she is not only the top goal scorer for the Women's Euro, but also for the NWSL. So expect a lot of good things
Correct.
from her this competition.
Yeah, she has been insanely good for sure. And I think you got to like the form that Spain is on right now, the way they went through their group, the way they've dominated. We've had a pretty good tournament so far. These quarterfinals have been exciting. Italy beating Norway 2-1. They will play England on Tuesday afternoon. England ended up beating Sweden in PKs yesterday. We'll get to England in a second because everyone's always interested to see what they're doing. We have one more quarterfinal tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific on Fox. It is France against Germany. Now, these two teams, usually Germany has the upper hand, but France got the win in UEFA Nations League last year. This is a younger French team against a veteran German team. So, Jess, who do you like?
I like France for this one. I mean, I think they dominated as well, along with Spain. Spain's dominated in their group, and I feel like France has been doing the same thing. I mean, they won against Wales 4-1 and against the Netherlands 5-2. So I'm just like, well, that's a country with soccer teams to look out for sure.
Yeah, I like France. I think Cascarino's, she's been impressive. She's got 2 goals. I'm going to go with France this one, but Germany's got a very good goalie, Gotham FC's goalie, and Katrine Berger. She's played extremely well. As a Germany team doesn't really lose, so I could see us being a really close game, maybe going into extra time, one of those things. So I think this will be a lot of fun. And of course, the other semifinal, the first semifinal, Spain will play the winner in the second one. England against Italy. That's Tuesday afternoon. Does England keep it going to the final, Jess, or do you think the Italian women advance?
I don't know. I mean, it could be anyone's game. For sure. It could be anyone's game for that. I mean, England's looking pretty good, but Italy could take it out. Italy could definitely take it out. We'll see if England relies on pressure or if they're going to change the tactics a little bit and get more compact, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so these two teams played last year in I think it's a friendly from what I can see here, and England won 5-1. So that's not, I know it's been a year since. I don't know how Italy makes up that kind of gap, but I mean, they've had some good run. Christina Girelli's got 3 goals, including the big one against Norway. She's going to have to be a huge game, but England's just got, I think, a lot of firepower. That's tough to overcome, I think, in that kind of a match. So that's what's going on over in the Euros. Let's talk about MLS this weekend. And I've kind of brought in a new segment like we do with 5 series for baseball. We're going to do 3 matchups from MLS for this weekend. Number 3 for me is El Tráfico, LAFC against LA Galaxy. Of course, Jess has a lot of experience with that one. I think this is a fun one. LAFC has played well this month. They haven't allowed a goal yet in this month, which has been pretty impressive. But the Galaxy, they can pull a little surprise here. I know they're in last place. They're not playing great, but they had a draw the last time these two met, and both these teams don't like each other. So to me, that would be number 3 on my list. Number 2, I'm going to go with Red Bulls and Inter Miami. Red Bulls just come off the second half against the Revolution where they scored 5 goals. Choupo-Moting has 13 goals this season. He has been a really bright spot for the Red Bulls along with Emil Forsberg. If Lewis Morgan was healthy, his Red Bull team would be much better than what they are. They're 8th place, so they need to keep that playoff spot against a Miami team that just lost to Cincy 3-0 this week, snapping Lionel Messi's 5-game goal streak. Miami's closer to the middle than the top. I know they made a big acquisition to get a little bit better going into the League's Cup, but they've got a little bit of work to do. So this match being in Sports Illustrated Stadium, Remember, the last time Messi came to the stadium, Messi didn't play. So it's going to be a real interesting environment in New Jersey for sure to watch that one. And number one is a great matchup. I think it's the top two in the West, San Diego and Vancouver. And this has potential to be a really high-scoring game. San Diego, before losing to Toronto, maybe they looked ahead to this one, had 6 multi-goal games in their last 7. Vancouver has 4 games of 3+ goals this year. It's tied for the most in MLS. And Vancouver, they've had a rough stretch since that CONCACAF Champions match. But this is a team that can start to get the ship going. They've got a lot of firepower. So, Jess, what do you think of those 3? And is there a matchup that I missed that you might like?
I mean, I think definitely those are the top games that I would want to watch for sure. Obviously, LAFC. But yeah, talking about, I never know what's going to happen with LAFC versus Galaxy. It seems like each one is the other's kryptonite, in my opinion. So I never know what to expect. I kind of hope that it ends up being a good game and there's not too many red cards on the LAFC side. But it's usually really getting a really fun match to watch. And as far as the Red Bulls versus Miami game, yeah, I have a feeling that Messi's coming back with a vengeance because of that 3-0 loss against Cincy. But I mean, I think isn't Cincy at like the top right now? The top of the conference? Oh, second in the conference.
Right now they're second, 1 point behind the Union.
So I mean, they're no slouch, And so Miami, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of losing grips a little bit. But I kind of favor Red Bulls for winning that match. But it could be a tie. I just don't know if Miami is going to pull it off. But we'll see. And as far as the San Diego-Vancouver game, anyone's match, the last 5 matches for both teams, they've both had 3 wins and 2 losses in the last 5 matches. So, I mean, it could be a tie. They're just kind of battling out up at the top there. Just battling out for first right there. There's really only 1 point apart because San Diego's got 2 points and Vancouver's got 1 point. So it's going to be a fun match to watch them battle it out.
Be sure to check out Jess every Wednesday, Shin Pads and Shenanigans. She's got all the latest on MLS, Women's Euros, Premier League before we know it. So be sure to check out all that awesome news Jess provides on her show. Jess, thanks for hopping on, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, talk again soon.
So definitely check out Jess's show. Larry's rooting for Italy, of course, and it's sad the Galaxy will do what they've done all season, lose. Again, they had a draw against LAFC. Who knows? They could. Rivalries tend to eliminate scoreboards. Like, nothing really happens. You might play your best game when it matters. But let us go from soccer field to the racetrack. And we're going to do a little lap here with one of the hosts of the Extra Mile. A lot of fun talking some auto sports with this guy. We haven't had him on the show yet. Daryl Kinsey Jr. is here. Daryl, how are you?
Hey, Ricky. Nice to speak with you live on the show. And about the time we got this meetup to happen, but it's going to be a fun weekend in motorsports with IndyCar in Toronto. We got NASCAR back at the Monster Mile in July, so it's going to be a hot one.
Hopefully a little hotter than, well, maybe the temperatures here in the Northeast. They've been absolutely miserable. And by the way, thoughts with all the people dealing with all the bad weather in some of these key places. Here in Jersey, we got hit with a ton of rain. It was just absolutely awful. But let's talk first some NASCAR. And of course, they are in Dover this weekend for the Monster Mile, and it's a track that Denny Hamlin has fared well in, a couple of wins. He, of course, defending champion here. Joey Logano making his 600th start. So what should we look at this weekend in NASCAR? Who's the favorite? Who's some sleepers that we should be watching for?
Well, the main thing is if you still have Shane Van Gisbergen in your favorite sports betting app or your fantasy team, go ahead and bench him this week because it is not a road course, so he will not be Super Shane this week. We've been dealing with that the last couple of weeks where he's absolutely dominated the road courses, but I can confidently say that he's going to go back to normal in Dover when it comes to the ovals, which is not well. But looking into who I'd be watching out for, you definitely want to watch out for Kyle Larson. Has got a win here. Even though Brad Keselowski just had an awful season, he does have a win here. This weekend might be the day. I think we've been saying that every week, that he's finally going to get off the schneid and pick up another win in his career. But Denny Hamlin is also always a great pick here, but you've got to watch the Hendrick cars. They're always strong here. William Byron, who should have won a lot more than he has this year, is currently leading the championship. That's a guy that I'd be watching for, as well as Hendrick. They've owned this track between Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. When Jimmy Johnson was dominant, they had the 1, 2, 3, 4 finish a couple of years ago. So there's plenty of drivers up and down the field that I'd be watching this weekend.
So let us move over from NASCAR to IndyCar. IndyCar, of course, going to Canada in Toronto this weekend, and for the Ontario Honda dealers. Colton Herta won last year. Alex Palou, of course, everybody's watching him, trying to tie or break the record set by AJ Foyt for wins in a season, 10 back in 64. Do you think he gets it done on this road course? Or does somebody like Herta, who won last year, or Scott Dixon, who's got 4 wins in Canada, get the win here?
I think it's going to be Alex Palou, like it's been the entire season. He is just a cut above everybody else, and it's just his year. What can I say? There's not enough. I run out of adjectives to explain how his season has been. He is making his way up the all-time greats ladder. And yeah, you mentioned Scott Dixon has been prolific here. Colton Herta won here, but there's just nobody that week in and week out is on the same level as Alex Palou in IndyCar right now. So if I was betting, I would be putting all my money on Alex Palou, and I'd probably be going home with a bunch of money because he's just been that good this year.
Moving on to motorsports, we got the Czechia Grand Prix. Another guy that seems to always win is Marc Marquez. He was dominating practice again today. Can anybody beat this guy, Daryl? How can you explain, maybe for those who don't know him that well, how much of a run he's actually been on?
Well, he took over the role from Valentino Rossi as the guy to beat in MotoGP. He's had some down years a couple of years ago, some injuries that have hampered him, but he's finally healthy. He's finally on a bike that suits him, and he's back to being the Marc Marquez that we've always known him to be, which is extremely dominant. I know MotoGP really may not be in my wheelhouse, but it's always fun to see the bikes in action. And Marquez, he's always had the speed over everybody else. He just needs the bike to go with him, and he's finally got it again. It's fun to see.
And last but not least, we got the NHRA in Seattle this week. What should be looking forward to out there on the West Coast?
Well, it won't be a lot of top fuel competition this week. Just 11 cars going out there this weekend. 17 funny cars as well. But this is the final charge towards the countdown to one that starts off in September in Indianapolis, as we're starting a truncated version of the Western Swing. But you really want to watch in Top Fuel the continued progression of Tony Stewart as a Top Fuel pilot. He's been over here for the last couple of years, taking over his wife Leah's ride, and he's gone from, he's added yet another series that he's got to win in. I think he's got like 20 series he's won in over his racing career. And right now he's hunting for a championship in the NHRA. He did win a Top Alcohol Funny Car Championship. He's got a chance at a Top Fuel Championship. So watching his progression on Sunday is going to be interesting for everyone. On the other side, in NHRA, it's who can beat John Force Racing in Funny Car, because Austin Prock, he struggled early this year. He's not anymore, and that's bad news for anybody else in Funny Car. He is absolutely dominating again. Jack Beckman also running well, although he is in second, about a full event behind in Funny Car. But I want to give a shout out to Paul Lee and the McLeod Racing FTI Performance Charger, currently third in the championship standings. One of our independent teams that they make the NHRA go around. You need those single car teams out there to fill the field, and they've gone from a field filler to an absolutely competitive car. So Paul Lee can have an opportunity to break some hearts and go rounds on Sunday. He could be a danger to Jack Beckman and Austin Prock, although that Prock rocket is back to being extremely fast. So it's going to be difficult to catch Austin Prock, but I think Paul Lee has enough in the tank to do it. Pro Stock is just the KB show, so less said about that, the better. And Pro Stock Motorcycle, it's the Gage Herrera show still. He's only leading the points this year by 96 points, which is low for him because usually that number is up in the high 150s. But Richard Gadsden over there in third. He finally won his first professional event earlier this year. That is a sneaky rider to watch going on the rest of the year. And he might have the reaction time to beat Gage Herrera. We'll see. But both of them in that Revzilla Mission Vance and Hines Suzuki team, they're really fast, and it's going to be them against the Smith bikes going on for the rest of the season.
So be sure to check out the recap to all these awesome races on the Extra Mile on Mondays. Daryl's got you covered there. Daryl, how can they follow you on social media and check out the show every week?
Well, I'm on DK Junior 12 on Twitter, speeder68.bsky.social on Blue Sky. And those are usually the places I'm hanging out most of the time.
Awesome. Be sure to check out Daryl's stuff. Does a fantastic job in the Extra Mile for us. Daryl, thanks for hopping on. We got to get you on again soon. Thanks for hopping in our pit crew for us, giving us some great racing talk.
Of course. We'll be back. I'll be back anytime. Have a good one.
So that's Daryl Kinsey Jr., host of the Extra Mile. That's some really good stuff. So we'll take one more time out. We will come back. We will talk WNBA All-Star Week in Indianapolis. We will talk NBA Summer League, and get into some UFC and some boxing, and you're going to hear from more of our insiders. It's been an insider-laden show, and we love that as we get you set for another great weekend in sports. You're listening to the Primetime Preview on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all this sports. We'll be right back in just a minute.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go. For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the IE Sports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And wrapping up episode 7 here of the Primetime Preview on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Had some great guests on. Ralph Calise, our Pittsburgh insider, Mets insider, Sixers insider, well, everything insider. We had Jess from Shin Pads and Shenanigans doing some soccer. We had Daryl Kinsey Jr. leading our pit crew, talking some auto sports. We're going to have some more guests in this last segment as well. But let's start with WNBA All-Star Weekend that is out in Indianapolis. Right now, the skills challenge just wrapped up. Natasha Cloud beat Erica Wheeler at the last second at the buzzer. So that's been a lot of fun. We got the 3-point contest going on as well. So we'll try to update you on that throughout the rest of the night as we are here. But of course, the All-Star game being tomorrow night, it is Caitlin Clark's squad against Nafisa Collier's squad. That is at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on ABC. But of course, even though Caitlin Clark is there, she's not going to be in this competition or this All-Star game because of a groin issue. And that's terrible for the WNBA because let's face it, Caitlin Clark brings people to the set. As much as players hate hearing that, she does. And she's been battling groin issues over the last few weeks. Fever need her healthy in the second half. I think she realizes that as much as the game is largely indie because she's there. So I'm interested to see how much the ratings get hurt by this. I don't think it should. There's still a lot of really talented players on this team for sure. I mean, for Team Collier, you got Brianna Stewart, who's playing well, Nneka Gumake, Alicia Gray, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese. Would have been cool to see Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on the same team. But Angel Reese is in. Alyssa Thomas, who I think has been really underrated this year for the Mercury. And then for Team Clark, you got Sabrina Nescu, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Sonia Citron, and Kiki Irfan. Jackie Young from the Aces, Kayla Thornton, who we've talked about in the show for the Valkyries, has been pretty good. So that's just some of the stars you get to watch. And as we look at the 3-point contest, right now it's Alicia Gray against Sabrina Ionescu in the finals. And those two have won each of the last 2 3-point contests. So be a lot of fun. But as we look ahead to the second half of the WNBA season, which starts next week, I'm going to give you my surprise and my disappointments. My surprise in the first half, to me, is the Mystics, because this is a team that's usually been at the bottom the last couple of years, and they found their way, maybe not quite to the top of the league, but there are 11-11, and let's put this in perspective. There are only 6 teams in WNBA with a winning record right now. So the Mystics being close to that mark, and they're doing it with a rather young team, which I think has been very impressive, to say the least. Citron is averaging 14 a game. Kiki Irfan has come in 8 rebounds a game this year, about 8.5. And remember, they had a really tough schedule coming into the year. They played the Liberty a good amount of times. So maybe the Mystics are a team that starts to get going in the second half of the year, and especially they've got their opportunities going forward. My disappointment, it's got to be the Connecticut Sun. Anytime you're 3-19, you've got to be on this list. And I know Tina Charles and Marina Mabry are playing well, but they are the only 2 scorers on the team with over 10 points per game. So they're not clearly scoring the way that they're looking for some of their other players to do as well. Bria Hartley, only 8.8 points per game. She has not played her best basketball. Their team averaging just 72 points per game and giving up 88 points a game. So if you're a team looking to try to make it to the playoffs in the WNBA, you're probably looking to play Connecticut on your schedule the rest of the year. But looking for a contender that's been disappointment, I'm going to say the Aces. I mean, the Aces, you would think they would be a little bit better. They're 11-11 right now. I know Asia Wilson has battled some injuries, and this team isn't completely whole just yet. Becky Hammond's squad has kind of been going through a little bit of stuff. We'll see if they can bounce back in the second half. Right now, Minnesota's 20-4. They're, of course, the top of the league, have yet to lose at home. Liberty are 15-6. They're going to get Jonquil Jones back for their first matchup after the break against Indiana. That'll be on the 22nd. And you think about the Liberty, and I said it on one of the shorts we did here on the New York account. They're 15-6. Jonquil Jones missed a good portion of the first half. Leona Phoebus was out for the early portion of the year due to Eurobasket. Natasha Cloud has missed some time, and Nescu's been out a game or 2. And they're still in a very good position. They're still 10-2 at home. They're still playing good basketball. Sandy Brundell is going to have this team playing well. I love what Phoenix is doing at 15-7. I think Seattle and Atlanta could be kind of surprises, could give you some really good playoff matches. but it's hard to say the Lynx and Liberty aren't the favorites. I saw this today on The Athletic. There's a WNBA anonymous player poll, and most think that it will be the Lynx and the Liberty, one of those two winning the championship. It would kind of be surprised if they don't. And remember, these two teams haven't played against each other yet. I think that's kind of the weird part of the WNBA schedule. The first match between these two teams is going to be July 30th. That'll be at 8 p.m. on ESPN. That's next Wednesday. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. So that should be a lot of fun. The other thing going on in terms of basketball, we have the NBA Summer League is in the semifinals. That'll be tomorrow. We have the Kings against the Raptors and the Hornets against the Thunder. You got to think about the Thunder this way. They're 4-0 in Summer League. This is the reigning NBA champions. And usually you're not used to seeing the reigning champions have a good Summer League team. But the Thunder seem to do that. And I think when you give this team a bunch of draft picks to make themselves better, they're going to find their way to do that. Barnheiser had 19 the other day against New Orleans. You had Youngblood had 14. Gortman had 10. I'm going to lean toward, but I kind of like where Charlotte is. Of course, Con Knepel's on this squad as a top pick. He can make an impact for sure. And then you got Kings Raptors. I can't believe there's Summer League odds on this, but apparently look at ESPN Bet, and the Raptors are 2.5-point favorites. I guess if you want to really bet Summer League, you could. The Raptors, I love what Colin Murray-Boyles is doing. I love watching him at South Carolina. He had 20 points, 9 rebounds in their last game against Golden State. He's going to be one to watch in that one. So it's your Summer League semifinals tomorrow, championship on Sunday. So we also, before we wrap up, we're going to do some combat sports. We don't usually do that here on the show, which is great. UFC 318 is coming up this weekend. And to tell us more about that, you're going to hear from our UFC or MMA insider, Corey Pujols. So, Corey, take it away.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Corey Pujols. I am your MMA insider here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Guys, I just wanted to get on here and go over UFC 318 before it comes to us tomorrow on pay-per-view. So it is for the BMF title. It's going to be one Max Blessed Holloway, the BMF champion currently, versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier. This is going to be the third time they hook it up. I'm absolutely looking forward to this match. Sensational match on paper and going to be in the octagon as well. Both of these guys, two of the most durable former champions that we have here in the UFC. And two guys that I admire and look up to a lot. I love both of these guys virtually equally, and I have followed both of their careers for a very long time. I can't wait to see this main event go down. Obviously, it's going to be hard for me to pick a winner here. I just hope both of these guys leave it all in the octagon, and I really cannot wait to see this show unfold tomorrow night, guys. Max Holloway comes in with a 26-8 record. Dustin Poirier comes in with a 30-9 record. Collectively, both of these guys have 56 wins inside the octagon, which is absolutely insane for both of these fighters. So I look forward to seeing this. I'm pretty sure that Max will probably be, singing his swan song within the next few years as well. So get ready for that, guys, at UFC 318 tomorrow night. So I want to go over the rest of the fights as well. Like I said, this is an absolutely stacked lineup that we have for Saturday evening. So in the co-main event, we do have Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. This is going to be a really good matchup. We haven't seen Paulo Costa in a little while, but he is the racer. He is that guy, and let's see if he still is that guy inside the octagon. He's going to have a really tough matchup against the 14-3 Roman Kopylov. That guy's not bad at all. Paulo Costa rocking a 14-4 record himself. So looking forward to seeing that one as well. For that in the third fight slot, I should say, is going to be one Kevin Holland, fan favorite. We love Kevin. If you've watched martial arts for the last few years or longer, you know what he brings to the table. He's an absolute class act. Always gets in the octagon and turns it up a notch. He's going to be fighting Daniel Rodriguez. That's going to be a great fight. Daniel Rodriguez, I believe, had a stunning finish last year, and as a result is starting to look up on the upside of his career, I should say. So this is going to be a very, very interesting fight between these two. And you know Kevin Holland, he stays busy, right? Like, he's not going to just sit there and not take a fight. So at featherweight, we do have Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull, which is going to be very, very interesting match. We did see Patricio Pitbull fight a little earlier this year, and it didn't go his way. So this is going to be a chance for him to get it right, but it's going to be no easy test. And Dan Ige, a guy who is in the latter part of his career so far, has been absolutely phenomenal over his last 4 or 5 fights, and a guy that continues to get better as he fights. Michael Johnson, knockout artist, is also returning to the octagon against Daniel Zellhuber, so that's also going to be a good match. Michael Johnson, looking forward to seeing you again. He's been going through a lot over the last 4 years or so, 4 or 5 years, but let's see if he can get back into the winner's column this weekend at UFC 318. That's all that I have for you guys, and thank you for joining me here on this MMA Short brought to you by eSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
So our thanks to Corey Pujols for hopping on, talking some UFC. And to me, I'm interested in this. I mean, hey, you're looking at going into New Orleans. Smoothie King Center doesn't usually get any wins because the basketball team is terrible. So you're going to at least get some good fighting going on at Smoothie King Center, New Orleans. Prelims start 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, ESPN2, ESPN Plus. The prelims are 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and the main card at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. Poirier weighed in 156 pounds. Holloway at 155 pounds. Sure to check out that. And as we wrap up talking about some boxing, we're going to have one more guest on. He has not made his primetime preview debut yet until right now. The founder of iSports Radio, Larry B, in the house. Larry, how are you? Ready to get some rounds, get the bell going, ready to go?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I'm ready to roll. Ding that freaking bell, man. I'm ready. This is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited to be a part of this, man. I've been on like every single show on this new lineup except for this one, so it's really nice to. Usually we're so busy on Friday nights, my wife and I, but man, I'm so excited we could make it here and could be on tonight's show, man. So thanks for having me, and I'm really excited to talk some boxing, man.
So as we did with the other sports, we'll start overseas before we go to the other card. We'll start Usyk Dubois, this round 2 between these guys in London tomorrow, not Wembley Stadium, which of course always gets these mega fights. So what is at stake in this kind of battle? Who is the favorite?
Well, Usyk's definitely the guy. I mean, let's just be real. Dubois, hey, good fighter, but when it comes down to it, I think we've long passed, and I hate this so much. Growing up with boxing was like the second part of my life. Boxing, believe it or not, was bigger to me before football ever was, because that was my grandparents, that was my father. It was always watching the fights. And who did you watch in the 90s when I was a tiny kid growing up, when I, in my early years? You watched Tyson, you watched Holyfield, you watched Bo, you watched all these monsters. Tons of these monsters in the heavyweights, and now they just don't exist no more. The heavyweights kind of died out. It sucks because I wish we'd have that again. I wish we could have gotten, obviously, but now it's just never going to happen. Joshua Wilder, you guys got guys like Fury and whatever. But what I'm saying is the heavyweights haven't had a really good, strong like rivalry or anything for well over 20 years now, and it's really kind of gone to the smaller guys like the welterweights, who we'll talk about in just a little bit. But so give you a little bit of background, you can kind of already see where I'm going with this. It's a bummer, man. I wish Dubois is a good fighter overall, but I do know that this is going to be probably the Usyk party. This guy, was dominant at cruiserweight, unified all the titles, and just kicked everyone's ass, man. That's what he did. The guy was amazing. He's been fighting, and honestly, what he did is kind of funny, Ricky. He just kind of popped up and said, "Screw it, you know what? I've dominated at cruiserweight, and all the heavyweights suck." Like, honestly, it's not. I'm not saying that's what he said, but that's what I'd be saying if I were him. And what did he do? He's bumped up to heavyweight, and now he's freaking doing the same damn thing he did there. So overall, I mean, I just got to say, look, good fighters. But when it comes down to it, man, what's at stake is Usyk's, his streak right now is just dominating. If he were to lose this, he'd shock a lot of people and probably lose a lot of people some money with some bets. But honestly, man, what I got to say about this is pretty simple. Usyk's probably going to dominate again, do what he's been doing. The guy has just been a force to reckon with, and boy, has he put on a show as not just a cruiserweight, but a heavyweight now, and he's done extremely well. So, a little bit of notes I had is just, this is kind of crazy. Dubois is going to actually enter at 244, and he's about 16 to 20-ish pounds, depending on water weight and everything. But again, it doesn't mean anything. Usyk's guy is a beast. Is this the last time for him, though? You kind of heard like right now what Corey was talking about with Holloway and Poirier. Is this a swan song? Is this it? Are we gonna see him bow out? I mean, he's 38 years old. We just seen another great retire. Lomachenko, of course, no Moschenko, just called it a career recently in the last month at 37. So is this going to be another one here? Age 38, this is potentially his fight number 2 of his last 2 career bouts. So is this it? Is this how he's going to, take down his or cement his legacy, if you will? I do really feel that Usyk's his IQ is really, really hardcore. I mean, the guy, his footwork, he's got so much, in my opinion, over Dubois. And again, nothing against Dubois. It's just Usyk's so much, in my opinion, he's a lot more skilled. He's a power puncher. I mean, this guy's got everything you'd want. So overall, I just feel like he's gonna probably dominate this fight. And if this is it for him, dude, hell of a career. I mean, this guy, he did so many great things in his career, and honestly, if this is it, then we're going to see him, end well. But overall, I just I don't see this thing going really any other way. And again, at stake, it's just really his. I wouldn't say it's tainted if he were to lose. I mean, it kind of be like passing the crown. I mean, it's not like Dubois bad, but again, it's just the fact that Usyk's so dominant, and this might be it for him. Where I'm just almost sure he's going to take this thing and run with it.
They have a big fight out in Vegas, and I was told this was on the docket. I thought this was a joke for a second. 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao was back in the ring. Now, the last time I watched Manny Pacquiao fight, I wanted my money back because Floyd Mayweather, that match is an all-time joke. I watched Canelo the month later, and I was like, that's what I should have paid for, and Canelo was free on HBO. But that's besides the point. Manny Pacquiao is fighting against 30-year-old Mario Azteca Barrios this weekend in Vegas. Is Pacquiao going to get a win against a guy 16 years younger than him, or is this one of those like Tyson Fury kind of things where it's not quite that, but the older against the younger in the ring? What Jake Paul, not Fury, Tyson Paul? What do you think?
My gosh, Ricky. Well, I'm gonna try to not go on this one forever, but I got so much to say about this. First things first, yeah, Manny, what the hell are you doing? I mean, going back to that whole thing too, Mayweather Pacquiao, it was a joke, right? And this is why I understand this, Ricky, when some people say, because I am always going to look, I like UFC, I'll watch MMA, it's cool, but home is boxing for me, and it'll always be. You hear guys talk about, it's real fighting and street fighting, and in my opinion, it's right here, 1 and 2. But at the end of the day, it's okay. What you like is what you like. What I like is what I like. That's cool. Is what it is. However, I respect both. But I will say something. In the UFC, in MMA, pride fighting, everything, you get the actual fights you want. That's what you get in those. Boxing, you don't always get it because freaking promoters, money, this crap, and it kills me because look what we got. We got a Mayweather and Pacquiao way past their primes. Just look, it was a horrible fight. I wanted my money back too, trust me. And it sucks, right? And that's, again, what we were probably going to get with Wilder and Joshua, and I'm glad we're not getting that because it's true. I would have rather had that years ago when it was good. So what is going on in this fight? Okay, so a couple of things. I guess a little bit of an overview. So Manny Pacquiao, 62-8-2, 39 knockouts in his career versus the WBC welterweight champion, of course, Mario El Azteca Barrios, 29-2-1, 18 knockouts. It's a WBC welterweight title. Obviously, if he's going to come out of retirement, it's going to be for a title, which he's probably just going to vacate afterwards if this is his true last fight. But why did he come out of retirement in the first place? So Manny retired in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. It's around September-ish. He did lose to Ugas. Your Dennis Ugas, to basically focus on politics. That's what he is, a politician in the Philippines, and he does his thing there. Great guy. He served as a senator and even ran again earlier in 2025. And he announced his return in May, which is kind of crazy. This May. And he says, I'm back. Let's make history, basically, on his social media. And it's really crazy, man. Why did he do this? He said he really missed it. Honestly, that was what he said, Ricky. He says he just wanted to rekindle. He really missed fighting. And Basically, his target is 2 historical records. The oldest welterweight champion, surpassing his own age, set at 40. And, of course, the first Hall of Famer to win a world title post-induction, which is pretty crazy. You got a Hall of Famer getting in there. This is crazy, right? It's like Chipper Jones when he was playing you know what I mean? Still playing when he was already a Hall of Famer in the MLB. I mean, this is, you know, obviously that's common in baseball. But he feels rejuvenated and competitive, and honestly, he just feels that his energy is like that of a 20-year-old from what I've read and seen. He's sustained in training right now under the legendary Freddie Roach. And overall, I mean, I just feel that he's just doing his thing right now, you know, and screw it. If he comes out and does it, sweet. Now, 16 years younger, a 30-year-old Mexican-American 6-foot-tall Orthodox fighter, strong power, 18 knockouts. Barrios, man, I mean, he became the WBC interim champion 2023, 2 years ago, and then went full champ mode in May 2024 after Terrence Crawford vacated that. So he defended wins over Maidana, which was a close fight that Mayweather had in his first bout with him, and a draw with Ramos. So obviously he has advantages. He's got lots of youth. He's got height, power, and really he just feels that he has confidence because he's actually the favorite, interestingly enough, from what I looked up. But Pacquiao, look, in boxing, he is the only eight division world champion dominating from the late 90s through 2010, or through the 2010s, really. But his last win was in July of 2029 versus Keith one-time Thurman, and that was the last pro loss. Obviously, was his last fight versus Ugas 4 years ago. So at age 46, many fans and analysts question if he still belongs in a top-tier professional fight. Most haven't seen him inside the championship level for 6 years, so it's pretty big. And but former rival Juan Manuel Marquez defended him, saying that his power is the last thing a fighter loses. So let's give the benefit of the doubt. So what's really on the line here, Ricky? So historic possibility. So become the oldest ever welterweight champion, surpassing his own record at 40. 46 now. First Hall of Famer to ever win a world title post-induction. The Hall of Fame ceremony took place back in actually this past month in June. And of course, personal redemption arc proving he can still compete and entertain. So, I mean, what do you call it? You know, is this legacy versus youth? Is, you know, what records are in sight? An emotional return? Is it David and Goliath just backwards? Is it David and Goliath forward? Who really is the David? Who is the Goliath? I mean, this is kind of hard to pick, but overall, man, I'm sorry, I just kind of went on forever there, but I really love this fight just because screw it. It'd be nice to see Manny back in there. And overall, man, I mean, I know I'm passionate about boxing. This is a big thing for me. And screw it, man. Barrios is a beast, and I like him a lot, but let's go, Manny. I'm sorry. Look, I was a fan of Manny for so long. Let's see if the 46-year-old can get in there and make it happen one more time. Hey, it does leave a bad taste in your mouth if you lose. Look, man, my very, very, very last game in college, man, it was a loss, and I hated it. I hated losing on that gosh, damn it. It wasn't senior night, but we were on the road and we lost. And I'll tell you right now, Ricky, that was hard to lose for my last ever college game, man. I wish I can get that last one back. You know, I could trade that one in for one of the earlier weeks. I'm just saying, man, it's hard losing that last one. So if you do get that shot to say, you know what, I get to replay that last one, screw it, man. Go all out and do it. So, Manny, let's see what he can do. It's gonna be a really fun fight. I'm gonna take Pacquiao on this one. It's probably gonna go all 12 and probably come down to a unanimous decision. Regardless, though, I'm excited, man. It should be a really fun fight, and I hope the fans enjoy it as much as I do.
Yeah, that'd be great to see Manny Pacquiao actually go out with a win. You get flashbacks here. It's always, I think, cool. Maybe it's we'll call it new guard versus old guard or something like that. We could go that direction. So definitely check out both those fights this week. So as we wrap up this episode, Larry, I haven't done this yet. We have never really ended the show with a guest. So I figured we've already, with all the sports we've talked about in the last hour plus, I told you could only watch one sport this weekend. Now, to be fair, we're going to lump baseball, MLS. If you pick those, I'll give you anything. You don't have to watch one game or one series. You can watch whatever you want. What's the one event that you would stick to for the entire weekend?
Oh, this is not easy because I freaking watch everything. Oh my gosh, even golf this weekend, man. You were talking about the Open Championship earlier. I mean, dude, I love golf. We have talked a lot about it here on iSports Radio, and I'm glad we are now. But oh man, that Red Sox Cubs series is going to be so much fun. It's already started. Obviously, them Euros. I'm not watching El Tráfico. I'm sorry. There's no need to watch a team that's not worse than the Raiders, but they're sinking that to that level. So no, I don't want to watch the Galaxy get beat down again for the 58th time this year, and they haven't even played 58 games. So I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, NHRA, that would be hard to not watch. This is how much I love him, though. This is how much I love him, Ricky. If I had to watch one thing this whole entire freaking weekend, I'm going to watch Pacquiao and Barrios because screw it. You don't get this. You don't get this. You know what I mean? You don't get this every so often even. You don't get a guy coming out of retirement to fight like this. So it would be the one. That would hurt to not watch the rest of these, especially IndyCar and NASCAR and Dover at the Monster Mile. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, if I got to pick one, man, even over UFC, because I really want to see Holloway and Poirier, but and respect to you, Manny. Make it a good fight. That would be the one I watch this weekend.
Fair enough. By the way, to update on the 3-point contest, Sabrina Nescu won for the second time. So the Liberty owning All-Star Weekend, winning both the skills challenge and the 3-point contest. So it was a good sign for the second half of the season for the WN Pit. So if I had to pick one, I'm going with the Open Championship. Number one being that for me, it's over by 3 p.m. East Coast time. I can then do whatever I want after it later at night. I can go out. It's Saturday night. I can do whatever. It doesn't matter. So I can have a nice cup of coffee. I get up with a cup of coffee, whatever for breakfast, watch the Open Championship. So that's a non-sport perk in that. My day's done after 3 p.m. Number two, to me, Scotty Scheffler is slowly becoming Tiger. Now, he's not going to be Tiger Woods, but if he wins, was it 3? He'd have 3 different majors, 4 total. He had won 2 majors this year. He's in the top 10 every week. He basically is competing for titles on a weekly basis. And the stat Mike Tirico threw out there, I told earlier, shocked me. Since 2022, there have been 62 rounds in majors. He's been in the lead or share the lead in 10 of them. Like that's how, and he's like you don't hear a lot from him. He's very reserved, but he's a guy that just gets going. People want to watch him, and it's not for the emotion. It's not for anything else. And I think you've got a good field. I mean, Fitzpatrick's a fun guy to watch. He won the U.S. Open. He's been in contention before. We've seen Rory get going. Maybe he has a good weekend. Maybe Xander Schauffele has a good weekend. Brian Harmon's been in the mix before. So, and the Open, as I said, it's weird. You get rain, you get sun, then you get wind, then you get 40, then you get crazy rough, then you get bunker. It's weird links golf that I can just sign up for, and like it could be sunny on the 4th hole and then raining downpour on the 8th hole. Like Ireland's got weird weather, man. What am I going to tell you? I don't know. So we're going to go with the Open this weekend because we can watch baseball and MLS and any other time.
Right.
We'll wait for training.
Right. No, I'm totally with you, man. I mean, yeah, those are things again, that's why same thing here. I got to watch this fight if I got to pick anything because you're just not going to get this every weekend. You don't get this. You can, again, don't get me wrong. I love all of the sports, but there's a lot of games. I can watch the Galaxy lose anytime, Ricky. I can watch the Galaxy lose next week, the week after. I mean, it's like, I've been watching them lose all year, so it's not like I'm going to miss anything there, So, but no, man, ring that bell. I'm excited. I'm ready to roll, man. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, big ups to Rip. By the way, man, love that guy there, man. Freddie B, our IndyCar insider here, man. Kings insider, Padres insider, man. Stick with my Andretti's picks. Kirkwood over Huerta. If Kirkwood does this, oh my goodness, how crazy. I mean, again, Pelot's got this wrapped up in a burrito, man. I'm sorry, but hey, let's see what happens in IndyCar, man. I'm excited, man. This has been a really fun show. Lots of insiders, man. You did a fantastic job, Ricky. And everybody, really quick, I want to take the opportunity. Next week, y'all, coming up, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern for the next 2 weeks, Monday through Thursday, 3 and Out. 8 divisions in 8 days we make our return, man. This guy over here is going to be talking about his teams over there and his true team. Who is that? You'll find out. Also, we got plenty of that coming up. It's going to be fun, man. We're going to be talking about every single division in the NFL. I'm even going to talk about my horrible Raiders, and I'm going to try not to diss them, even though it's asking like water to not be wet, but regardless is what it is. So it's gonna be a lot of fun next couple of weeks, guys. Ricky is gonna be running with some football next week. He's getting excited to get him going with some NFL training camp and everything next week. We're gonna be really getting into it. Hall of Fame game is 13 days away now. I mean, we're just around that. But let's rock and roll, man. We're gonna have some fun. Ricky, great show tonight, man. Thanks again for having me. It's an honor. I'm excited. Hopefully I can be on this show more. Fridays are always so damn hard, but anytime I can try my best to make it, man, I will.
So definitely check out Larry's football series. It's always a lot of fun. Again, we got the Hall of Fame game coming up July 31st, which is crazy, but training camp's in full effect, which is awesome. You'll get my Flip the Channel game of the week, which is the game I least want to watch each week throughout the fall. Hopefully the Raiders or other teams that don't fall. Maybe the Giants might. That might be. You never know. But at least LAFC has done something the Raiders haven't done lately, and that's won a championship. So you got to give that credit on that front for the Galaxy that they've at least found a way to get that going. But a lot of good sporting events on the docket this week. Again, we talked about Scotty Scheffler. We talked about baseball back in full force in the second half. Trade deadline is less than 2 weeks away. We'll give you more of a trade deadline primer next week on the show as we get closer to that. We have the Summer League. If you like exhibitions like football preseason, basketball Summer Leagues for you, who has the best rookies and who gets the championship. Even though Toronto or Oklahoma City, one of those two teams, we'll see. WNBA All-Star Game coming up this week. It's good for me here at MLS. Messi comes to New Jersey and he's actually playing this time. I don't know. Red Bulls could pull an upset here, and I think that's a team that you want to keep an eye on, especially if Lewis Morgan gets healthy in the second half. Yep, Chargers and Lions coming up. Oh my, we got preseason. College football is going to be fun too. We had media days this week. Big 12, I'm looking at you. Why no preseason polls? Because you felt bad that you didn't pick Arizona State last year. I have no idea, but that's besides the point. Thanks to all you guys for chiming in. Thanks to all our insiders for chiming in. It's been a really fun show. I've had a lot of fun doing it as well. We have a lot of good shows coming up this week. Of course, Extra Mile we talked about with Daryl. We got opening series with Adam Karnick, Second and Scheming with Mike Pat. Big Mike was good last week. Be sure to check that out again. That was a lot of fun. We got the Midweek Mania with Taryn. I got Glenn hopefully debuting his new show on Thursdays as well. So fun new network lineup of shows here on the network that you're going to want to stay tuned. Of course, tune in to me every Friday for the Primetime Preview. Glad to be on a later slot. This is actually kind of fun to be on the 8 p.m. time slot. Thanks to all those who tuned in. For Larry B., who's right here, and for all of our IE Sports Radio community, Set Point as well. Taryn will be on Monday. I'm Ricky K. Saying have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy all the sports, and we'll talk again soon. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.